Nash and think big sexy.
No?
No.
Not even a little bit?
No. Even for like 1998 standards, he's not sexy.
Anybody in the NWO?
Not off the top of my head.
Bischoff?
No. Bischoff is not sexy.
You call him Leather Daddy.
That's not sexy. He's Leather Daddy.
Scott Steiner?
No. Oh, no. I'm afraid if I, try to hug him, he'll pop.
Welcome back to the Butts and Seats podcast, episode 5.
We've got 5 episodes!
And I don't know if I've really enjoyed any of the shows thus far.
But we made it through 5!
I think this is the closest. I think this first Nitro is the closest I've gotten to enjoyment.
And I fell asleep during the second one, so...
Yeah, the very end.
Yeah, but still.
I'm your host, Nick, alongside Emily.
Yellow.
How you doing today, Emily?
I'm very tired. Not really. Just
Good start.
What do you want me to say? I've been working a long day, but I'm excited to talk about this because we spent all last night watching it.
Did you stop working early?
No, like 4, 15.
That's early.
No,
Slightly.
That's normal day.
I think it was a long day. Aha.
Long day in content form. But no, we spent all last night watching this. I'm excited to talk about it because we don't really talk when we're watching. So
no,
I don't get
we try to save it for this.
I don't get your whole, I don't know, your whole reaction to things.
Yeah, you fell asleep, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to stay up and watch Thunder. Or just parts of the Thunder. And I came into the bedroom, and I was like, you don't need to watch Thunder.
Yeah. Good news. You don't need to watch Thunder tomorrow.
I don't really have much before we get into it, so let's go ahead and get into it. We got 5 episodes of Nitro in between World War III and Starrcade, so we gotta cram.
Gotta cram. So this is gonna cover 2 episodes.
Yes, we're going 2 on this one, 3 on the next one, because I looked and there's more content in these 2 that we need to cover than in the other ones.
Oh, and all 3 combined?
Yeah, I think it was close.
Okay.
But one of them's a Christmas episode, and just, it's a 5-week build. They're not going to put their effort into all 5 weeks. So.
Fair. We should watch the Christmas episode.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're going to watch bits of it. I looked ahead, and there's only a little bit of Christmas stuff. It's not a ton.
But 'tis the season.
We watched the Miracle on 34th Street fight match between John Cena and Alberto Del Rio.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all the promos that went along with it.
Was that the car? Was that the Miracle on 34th Street fight?
Yes.
Where Alberto Del Rio runs down Santa.
Yeah.
And a production assistant pushes a tree on him.
Yeah, 'cause it doesn't really make any sense the tree would fall. But after that, I tried to find more, good Christmas stuff in wrestling. And there's not a lot of good Christmas stuff in wrestling.
I'm not surprised. I'm assuming there's a Christmas feast wrestling match in Jell-O with girls in bikinis.
You know what I should have showed you is some matches with the Christmas creature.
Oh, no. Oh, is it like Krampus?
No, if I recall correctly, it's like a big tree.
Of course.
Do you know who plays the big tree?
Fucking Kevin Nash, probably.
Kane.
Oh, my God.
Who played fake Kevin Nash in WWE.
Oh, Kane.
Kane was the Christmas creature. Hold on, I showed you Virgil last time. Let's see if I can get a live reaction to the Christmas creature.
Oh, I forgot about Virgil. There are some things that I'm okay that I forget that you show me. There's some things that just don't need to be stored in my brain. I already have too much useless information in my brain.
Apparently, WWE made a toy out of it. Here is the photo of the toy.
The Christmas creature? Why does that not shock me at all that that's Kane? Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't look as bad as a toy because it's a toy. When you see it like a 7-foot man wearing it, it's just...
Oh, he looks like he wanted to be Grinch for Halloween, but then his parents were like, you missed Halloween by 2 years, make it Christmas.
By 2 years?
Yep, that's what I said.
Because, October 31st, 2 years from now, will not be Halloween.
No. I meant what I said. I said what I meant.
That's a different thing. That isn't the Grinch.
Ah, shit.
So we start off the build to Starrcade.
Woo.
With the November 23rd, 1998 Nitro.
Woo.
I've made an effort to write who's on commentary, but...
It's kind of the same 3 guys, isn't it?
Well, they just swap in Bobby, I think, at the second hour with Larry Zbyszko.
Yeah.
So it's it's going to change from time to time.
So it's Tony Schiavone, Larry
Zbyszko.
Zbyszko and Michael is his name?
Mike Tenay.
Mike Tenay.
Who I always laughed because he was the, like, one of the lead announcers for TNA, like TNA Wrestling.
Tits and ass.
But his name is spelled Tenay. I'm like, oh, he is
that's
literally
funny. He is literally TNA.
TNA.
That's funny.
I don't think they ever brought that up. I think that's just my
ironic.
brain. Yeah.
Not ironic. That's just a coincidence.
So commentary's running down the show a little bit, and they say that they're not going to have an explanation about Hulk Hogan not being at World War III. Instead, he will give his explanation on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. We actually have previously talked about this interview. He does, because that's the one where it's like, all right, you Democrat or Republican? Right now, I'm right in the middle.
Oh,
and
yeah.
even Leno's like, kind of a lame answer is that? Just a reminder for you that we did manage to miss Jay Leno's match.
Darn.
Yeah.
What a shame. Who'd he fight?
I think it was him and DDP versus Hogan and Bischoff.
That could be interesting. We could go back and find that. No? Okay, never mind.
You really want to see Jay Leno, like, wrestle in the main event of a match?
I like DDP.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen Eric Bischoff fight, so...
You might at Starrcade.
Well, I know, but I haven't yet.
Also, DDP sticks around basically until the end, so we'll see plenty of him. We don't need to go back.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
We don't need to go backwards in time to see more DDP.
Fair.
So we go from commentary to backstage with Goldberg arriving, and then a car with Kevin Nash and Conan arriving.
Yeah, so it's not backstage, it's in the parking lot.
Yeah, it's all relatively.
I think, I liked the parking lot venue better than just being backstage. For some reason, it felt more authentic. Like, that's something that could actually happen in the parking lot. Rather than, like, I'm standing stoically in the hallway and someone walks up to me, like, we both parked our cars at the same time. Oh,
yeah, except they were both getting out of the back of a car that was, like, dropping them off, so the cars weren't parking in the parking lot.
I don't know. It felt more authentic.
It also was just very quick, because Nash says he's next, which is I don't know if you are even aware of this, Goldberg's thing is, like, who's next?
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, beat someone. That's like, all right, who's next?
I did not know that.
I'm gonna beat everybody. I figured.
Wait, so then why is Kevin Nash like, I'm next? Because, like, if the thing is, like, who's Goldberg gonna beat next?
Nash like, ooh, I'm next.
Oh, with the fucking voodoo fingers.
Yeah, which is a Scott Hall thing, by the way.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's basically Nash not taking the main event of Starrcade seriously.
I'm so glad that he's, fighting to be in it then.
Yeah. And
great.
Goldberg quips back, next ain't a safe place to be. Ask your girlfriend.
I don't get that.
I don't know. Sometimes I think you're just trying to sound cool, and it doesn't totally work.
It's like, ask your mom.
So I've honestly forgotten what we skipped and what we haven't. I think we, at one point, we skipped a Lex Luger and, like, Mike Enos match or something.
I don't know how they haven't done a my penis joke with him yet.
They probably have, but we're not
watching
segments with Mike Enos.
This is how things like World War III happen, where I'm like, who the fuck is Glacier? This is how...
Well, keep in mind, we've only been watching for, a month, and their roster's so fucking huge that, you're not going to see everybody.
Except for at World War III.
Well, I mean, even at World War III, there were plenty of guys who didn't wrestle. So it makes you wonder who else is under contract.
I'm just saying, like, in the big Battle Royal match. Like, who all showed up for the World War III match.
So we start off the main show with Mean Gene interviewing Billy Kidman. So Kidman almost immediately brings out Rey Mysterio and offers him a shot at the belt. Yeah,
it's a very respectful exchange.
Yeah, Rey gives a real long-form answer that I guess is a yes.
He dances around it, yeah.
But the match happens, so. And Kidman goes to leave... And then Eddie Guerrero, and to quote Mean Gene, and this guy.
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero and this guy.
Well, same, because I was going to tell you who it was. I'm like, I don't even fucking know.
Did you not even know? I was going to ask if you knew, but it was funnier that just, you shouldn't, you don't need to know. Mean Gene needs to know who these people are.
It doesn't help that they don't really feel the need to differentiate a lot of people in the LWO. No. And... they're not really pushing any of them besides Eddie. And then Ray, if you want to count him in there.
And Juventud now.
Yeah, because Hoovy joined, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, 2/3 of those joined the LWO in the past 3 weeks.
Fair.
So,
but anytime the LWO come out, it's just like a sea of masked luchadors, and I don't know who they are. It's kind of sad. Like, I like luchadors. I think they're fun.
yeah.
But I don't know who any of these people are. They're all just wearing LWO shirts. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So that's all you are now. You're just a t-shirt. Like,
Yeah, and I don't even think I'm, like, skipping their matches. It's just, like, I think they're just not
fighting.
much. Yeah, although, I don't know if it was here or later where, like, they really hammer home. It's like he's trying to unify the race. It's like, ugh.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Oh, no.
So Eddie comes out and is like, I have this contract that you have to be in the LWO. I never get how these contracts work.
Yeah.
I've never understood this. Like, there was one with, in like 2011, John Cena had to like join the Nexus. Or it was 2010. Yeah, 2010. But they made him join the Nexus. It's like, all right, I can fire you if you act out. And it's like,
Okay.
are you telling me WWE isn't going to rehire this guy?
You're going to fire John Cena?
Yeah.
No.
So Ray has to do what Eddie says, although didn't we establish last week that everyone's under contract to Eric Bischoff and not individual people because Barry Windham and Ric Flair?
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know, but...
It's just like an internal faction, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I may not be your manager, but I'm your supervisor sort of role.
I guess.
It's dumb. I don't know why I'm trying to justify it. It's dumb.
Yeah. Eddie kind of talks and says he's not happy, and he forces Ray to put on a 6XL LWO shirt. To which I wrote, Ray looks cozy as fuck.
Now that's a sleep shirt.
Yeah, I was just saying, he put it on, and I'm like, is that Emily?
I just loved Mean Gene in this moment because he was like, in case you didn't notice, Ray, Eddie's embarrassing you.
Oh, yeah. Mean Gene is so fucking on the nose and like stirs the pot. Mm-hmm. There's a interview from one of the King of the Ring pay-per-views. It might be the first one they do, where he like stirs the pot between Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect and like gets them to be like, to basically have a my dad could beat up your dad argument. And then it's like, gentlemen, please calm down. And it's like, all right, asshole.
My dad can beat your dad. My dad's cooler than yours.
But yeah, it's like near peak Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect arguing about whose dad could beat up who.
Every week passes and I don't know how I feel about Mean Gene. I don't think I like him. No. I don't think that, like, especially in this episode when he was instigating a lot of conversations, or like mediating, I guess I should say. He's just not a good talker, I don't think. Or he doesn't know like how to be in a conversation that is not directed at him.
He overstates his position.
He overstays his welcome.
Yeah.
Like certain guys that come in and just like hold the mic while guys are cutting promos. That's what I want Mean Gene to be. But he's like, oh, what are you gonna say to that, Brett?
I think it's also weird because it's in the ring. And it's like...
He does it on the ramp, too. I mean...
Yeah, but I think it's usually weirder in the ring. It's like, you don't need to hold the mic like this whole time. Like,
yeah.
There's segments where it's like, just have two guys come down and talk. You don't need to...
Yeah, why don't they have two mics?
I don't know.
I think WCW has the budget at this point to have more than one microphone.
Yeah, there's I forget what segment it is, but I think it's a Bret Hart DDP one in the next episode. But they have their thing, the point is stated, and then Mean Gene like feels the need to like throw back to commentary or commercial and just like keeps going, and I'm like, dude, just get out of the segment.
Throw it, be done.
Yeah. I don't know how long he's here for, but I'm curious how the production changes when he's gone.
Oh, really? So he does leave?
He might be under contract, but not on screen.
Okay.
I have a feeling. I could be wrong about that, but we'll see. I think they're having him do too much.
Definitely.
They need a second interviewer.
Yes.
And they have plenty of guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's the only guy that can do this.
Yeah, bring out Tony the Tiger.
The other big pet peeve I have when it comes to like cutting promos is you showed me the breaking through the wall,
the Shockmaster
promo, and I think I'd seen it before, but you showed it to me again a couple days ago. And all the guys before the Shockmaster comes out, they all have their back to the camera and they're all screaming over each other. I hated it. And that's not an isolated incident either. That happens, especially the backs to the camera, happens all the fucking time. And it bothers me every time. I don't know if that's just like the theater kid in me, but like, present out, dude.
Fell on his fucking ass.
That was good. But yeah, that bothered me the whole time. I was just staring at what's his face's back.
You're Bulldogs.
Oh, was it Bulldog?
Yeah.
Okay, like.
So that's pretty much the end of that segment. The match is set up for later. And
yeah, so sorry, back on track.
awkward end of the segment. Shocker.
Yeah, because in this point too, Billy Kidman just kind of disappeared.
Oh yeah, he just like walked away, which that's in character for Kidman.
Yeah.
He just kind of bails when it's convenient for him. We continue with non-match segments that have awkward endings with Kevin Nash, Conan, and Lex Luger come out. And I'm like, I honestly don't know if Nash actually looked more heelish or if it was just the bandana.
You know, I didn't even notice the bandana. I wasn't thinking about the bandana.
I think it's just the general attitude of
Kevin
not
Nash.
giving a fuck.
Yeah. I'm just starting to get very annoyed by just Kevin Nash's face. He used to be the one that I preferred between Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. But now I'm like, I don't want either of you anywhere near me.
Yeah, and I think it might be a safe assumption. I don't know. But you just keep assuming Scott Hall is drunk for everything.
I do.
And I think it was the next episode where I'm like, I think Kevin Nash is a little fucked up.
Oh yeah, in the next episode.
Yeah. So they're cutting promos. No one's saying anything of substance. Although Lex does say, I don't like finishing second. Which I think you took as a sex joke.
Yeah.
And I took, isn't that the story of your career though?
What do you mean?
Just finishing second, not being the top guy.
That's true.
No, you don't like it, but that's who you are, bud.
To me, it was like, oh, you don't like finishing second? That doesn't surprise me.
Fuck you, got mine.
Exactly. He doesn't really seem like the kind of guy to be
No,
a gentleman.
He tries to pull a Royal Rumble 94 and have them finish at the exact same time.
But see, that only works every once in a while.
At one point you said to me, ask me if I think Kevin Nash is big sexy.
He is not big sexy.
He is in Magic Mike, again.
I think I need to watch Magic Mike again because I think, well, maybe I don't because I think I'll just get upset. But he's not cute. I don't get it. Like, he just kind of looks like your uncle that shows up at, picnics drunk and he's got like a ponytail and a beer belly. And I'm like, what? You're hot? No.
And he powerbombs you through the seesaw.
Through the seesaw?
Yeah. Yeah, you have one kid standing on one side that he powerbombs you on the other side and then vaults the other kid up.
Oh my god.
And then Randy Orton's there and hits an RKO on the second kid, flying through the air.
What a picnic.
This is why I can't book wrestling.
No. This is why you're not welcome at playgrounds.
Okay, that's not true.
I'm kidding.
So back to the promo. They give the mic back to Kevin Nash after everybody does their little shtick. And I don't know who this line was directed at because it could be 40 different directions. Mm-hmm. Whether you like it or not, I'm next. And I'm like, is that to Goldberg? Is that to the fans? Is that to the boys?
It could be all of the above. Because at this time, he is like the showrunner, right?
It's debated whether or not he is booking it or not. Some people say yes. He says no, but isn't that convenient?
Yeah. There's
also a weird jab from him saying, I don't call people Wolfpackaholics.
Oh yeah, which you caught as a slight to Jericho.
Yeah, because he calls his man Jerichoholics.
I missed
also, everything with Jericho over like this episode and the next episode, it does seem like they're suddenly burying Jericho a little bit, so.
Well, they're definitely like giving him more heel heat. Or is it just like writing him off kinda? I can't tell. Because like he came out for his segment later on, he's like, I don't hear you guys cheering for me anymore.
Yeah, I'm talking more like Scott Hall comes out and just like makes him look like a chump later. Mm. And then we'll get to what happens in the next episode with him. But Nash closes it out by saying he's going to beat Goldberg.
Woo!
He really needed to come out and do all this for that. That's literally what this whole promo is. I am going to beat Goldberg at Starrcade.
Mm-hmm. And they didn't really plan what they were saying. Like, all three of them, I don't think they like got together and like, I'm going to say this, and then you say this, and then you say this.
Yeah.
It's just
Conan
like...
did his regular Spanglish kind of
Well, yeah.
crowd call out stuff.
But it felt like they were saying a lot without saying anything.
Yeah. And in case you didn't get enough Kevin Nash, we go backstage and me and Gene is like, I'm ready to interview Kevin Nash. Like, he was just talking.
He just walked off the ring.
However, he does actually raise a good point. Which I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. I was ready to shit on the premise of this, and then it's like, hey, we were all kind of hoping you'd say something about, Scott Hall and what the fuck's up with the two of you.
Oh, fair.
And Nash says that he doesn't trust Hall, and basically Hall's going to have to make the effort if they want to be friends again.
Yeah.
Which isn't what happens.
Not at all. Now I'm thinking about it. Oh my god, you're right. Wow. I didn't even think about that.
So then Goldberg appears from behind, and he says he's not going to be attacking Nash from behind, and then Nash acts like a dickhead. I said he pretends to pretend to be afraid.
Yeah.
And then also notes that Bill should cut down on the caffeine, which I think
don't
both
remember.
of us were puzzled at.
I should have taken better notes, because there was one point where I think Goldberg made a comment about running him down with a van or something, very casually talking about committing vehicular manslaughter.
I mean, that's probably something the NWO has done to people before.
Probably.
So.
But it was just very casual.
I mean, we've seen them do it with The Rock, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Kevin Nash was like, Goldberg needs to cut down on the caffeine. I'm like, I don't know if that's a slight. He's not jittery. He's not bugging out.
I will say, it does take the mystique out of Goldberg a little bit. Anytime anyone calls him Bill.
Oh, I love calling him Bill.
Or I think someone calls him like William at one point. So still no matches for us, because now we have Mean Gene interviewing the Giant in the ring.
Yeah, we don't really watch a lot of matches. I'm realizing this.
Well, we have a couple. I mean, actually,
the next one we watch,
we have a fair amount, and I think in this one as well, because there also aren't a lot of matches of note in this.
True, especially not in the first hour.
But the Giant comes out, and Gene notes that Kevin Nash kind of led the charge to eliminate the Giant. He was the one kind of being like, hey, let's eliminate that 7-foot dude. I'm just a lonely 7-foot dude who can't eliminate him.
Don't eliminate this 7-foot dude. Eliminate that 7-foot dude.
So the Giant has a killer line. He claims the Wolfpack has chickenitis.
Mm-hmm. Chickenitis.
So he challenges Goldberg tonight. And he's only doing it to wrestle Kevin Nash at Starrcade. And I'm like,
yeah.
You're challenging the world champion, the undefeated world champion, because you want to wrestle another guy? It's that
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they're really trying to make Nash seem like a big deal.
And you're telling me that he's not booking this match, these matches? You're telling me that Kevin Nash is not running the show?
Yeah. I think actually this is where I noted that Gene just talks too much.
This is where I noted that he's getting a lot of screen time.
Oh yeah, that too. But it's Giant issues the challenge and then goes to walk away. I'm like, cool, end of the segment. And then Gene talks for another 45 seconds.
Gene's got
and I'm like,
something to say about everything.
I'm like, just go to commercial. You don't need to throw to commercial every time.
They run out of time every episode, but they let Gene talk over his time? Every time?
So next we finally get to a match. And it is the first Rey Mysterio match, not counting World War III, on the podcast.
Woohoo! I love Rey Mysterio. He's the first wrestler that, when Nick and I first started dating, he gave me the infamous PowerPoint presentation of everything you need to know about wrestling. He showed me Rey Mysterio matches, and I was like, that's my guy. That's the one.
What did you think of Rey's mask and tights? This is the one where he had a real pavement look, looked like you were scrape your knee on him.
Oh yeah, I didn't love it. I do prefer him without the bright blue contacts, though. In current day 2020, he does that. The bright blue. I don't like that.
I think he does that. I think he does different colors.
I like his natural.
Yeah,
I like his natural beauty.
Yeah, I think at various points he will do different color contacts. I know he'll do white ones sometimes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
this is definitely before his super comic-esque gear. It's not really.
He's done stuff before. Yeah.
Okay, well in this match it's really not comic book.
Oh no. This match is actually pretty similar to what he that kind of style gear when he first came back to WWE in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he comes out in his big 6XL shirt and he's just looking like a little kid, like, I want to play.
Yeah, and he comes out to the LWO theme, which I noted sounds like Donkey Kong country music. Am I wrong?
I need to listen to it again.
Well, we don't hear that one as much, so I wasn't sure.
Fair.
It's not the NWO theme.
Did we talk about you setting the NWO theme on our Alexa last episode?
I think we said we were gonna, and then you got mad at me.
So, last episode we may have talked about this, but Nick had this idea for a prank to, on the Amazon Alexa, you can set routines, and, not sponsored, but go for it. And you can, like, set a song to play at any time of day.
I don't know if it's really a positive story for Amazon, so I think we're safe.
It talks to how, accurate the timing of it is and how easy it is to schedule things, because Nick decided to schedule the NWO theme to play at 5:40 p.m. for some reason.
It was going to be 5:30, and then I wanted to test it, and I forgot to change the time back when I went to test it. So I noticed at like 5:35 that I'm like, oh shit, it didn't go off. So then I set it for 5:40 because you got like suspicious because I didn't play it off well.
So the NWO theme just plays randomly, and I get angry, and I'm like, get in the app, turn that off.
Yeah,
the next day, he calls me, and he had like gone out to get groceries or something, and I'm sitting on the couch. And he calls me, and while we're on the phone...
I'm, like, about to hang up. I was so close to getting out clean.
While we're on the phone, the fucking song starts playing again. And I'm like, you fucking idiot. You didn't take it off the Alexa!
I thought about turning it on when I was at work.
I would have killed you. The first time we realized that this was happening is that you wanted to set Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You as like a morning alarm for when I'm getting ready for work in the morning. And you said it and then didn't realize that the next morning was a Saturday. So I think I just forgot I said it. We were woken up at 8 a.m. to Mariah Carey in the living room, just singing her little heart out. And we're freaking out in the bedroom, just screaming, Alexa, stop! Oh, yeah. Amazon sponsor us. Send us some dots. We need some dots.
Yeah, the Amazon Alexa has better audio than or at least audio mixing than WCW does. Because I don't know why the ring announcer is not patched into the TV feed.
This is a big gripe of yours.
Well, it's also because if they're announcing it's a title match, which I think this is. Yes, this one is.
Was it?
This one is. There's one later that we find out is like 30 seconds before the finish.
Yeah, because this one they said in the promo before, I want a shot at the title.
But that's only by the promo before. But we can't hear any announcers, or we can't hear the ring announcer announcing anything.
No, we don't hear him like saying, Rey Mysterio. We don't get any of that. Yes.
We'll see if that joke played when I listen back to it. That could go either way, honestly.
But that's something that you brought up before, that we just cannot hear the ring announcer ever.
Yeah, because I think originally I thought it was just other noise being played over, but here I'm like, okay, you are literally not. You're just patching it to the arena. You're not.
Yeah, and whatever gets picked up through the area mics, that's what goes.
Yeah, which are constantly being turned on and off,
right?
And who the fuck knows? There's a lot of weird moments like that. But let's actually get into the match, because when we start, it feels like Kidman's trying to like match Rey Mysterio in terms of speed and moves, and I'm like, dude, you're not that fast. Like, change it up. And he does, but it's like early on, it's real kind of sloppy, and Kidman's trying to go too quick.
Yeah, at the beginning, to me, it felt like too choreographed. Like they were like, here's a move, here's another move, and then another move, and there was no transition in between, so they were just kind of trying to hit the points. And then once they kind of got into the groove, it got really good.
Yeah, kind of that one of those like first kind of spots for me that was like, oh, okay, this is, they're gonna give him time, it's gonna be good. Ray head scissors Kidman to the outside, and then goes for another Hurricane Rana while he's out there. Kidman just like vaults him like face first into the apron.
Yeah, it was good. Like they actually, like, once they warmed up and kind of got each other's groove, they were doing moves like even commentary was like, I don't think we've ever seen that before.
Yeah, because at one point Ray like stands in the middle rope, but like the set, like not in one of the corners, like the center part, just like stands there and hits like a diving famouser.
Yeah, I wanted them to replay that move because I wanted to see it again.
Yeah, that's production value. That's not good. I think you see it at the end.
Oh, really?
I'm trying to think. Do we see any replays during the matches?
I don't think we did. Because, like, there were a couple of times where, like, oh, we need to see that again. Like, even the commentary, like, oh, I'd love to see that move again. And they never do.
So, did you note Ray hitting a 619 on nobody?
No.
That's just a general, like, luchador move where you basically use the ropes and, like, kind of spin like that to turn around. Mm. And I just laughed seeing him do that after Kidman, like, Irish whips him into the ropes. And it's like, nope, spin. And I'm like, there was someone there. That'd be a 6-1.
Booyaka.
So Kidman counters a springboard attack from Ray with a midair dropkick. So that was a nice...
Yeah. There were some really cool moves in this. I couldn't tell you what any of them are called. I said, like, there was a cool flippy twisty move. Don't know what that was.
That's either when Kidman catches Ray for a diving moonsault from the second rope, and then Ray tries to turn that into a sunset flip.
Maybe that was it.
Yeah,
it was something that
flip, and then like turns his own move into a tornado DDT.
Yeah,
even the announcers are like, "Oh,
that was really cool."
Yeah, I can't say I've seen him do that since. So I'm like, "Yeah,
cool. Maybe it was accidental or it hurt."
And Ray hits facebuster, and you know what Kidman didn't do? He didn't go for a power bomb, so Ray did the facebuster. Ray just did the facebuster.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the first match that we noted that Billy Kidman did not do his stupid facebuster.
Yes, and I'm wondering if it's because Ray can't get him up for a powerbomb kind of thing.
Probably not.
Or it would look silly if Ray was going for a powerbomb.
He is small.
That's the thing. Kidman didn't do the move at all. It wasn't like Kidman did it, and it wasn't by a powerbomb. It was Kidman didn't do it because he couldn't get powerbombed.
That's the only way he knows how to do it.
Apparently.
Oh, Billy.
We say that Ray didn't go for powerbomb. Ray actually does hit a sunset flip powerbomb out of the corner. And Kidman hits... It's a corner bulldog, but I just know it as Stratusfaction. Stratus' finishing move.
See, that's what I noticed.
I think he does it... Somebody else does it later as well, and I'm just like, that's Stratusfaction.
Trish. My girl.
I don't want to do a counter of how many, but it does feel like it happens in all of the cruiserweight matches. It's like a minimum of one superplex per match.
Yeah, which like I don't know if that feels really like necessary because it's cruiserweight. Like they have a bigger move set than just like a superplex. They can do fun stuff. That's why I like the cruiserweights. Like they can do a lot of fun flippy stuff.
So Ray dives and Kidman catches him with, they call it a power bomb, but it's really kind of more like a sit out spine buster kind of thing.
Yeah, it wasn't really a power bomb.
Yeah, it's kind of like, to me, power bomb, like you need to have them either on the shoulders or like do the flip kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Eddie then comes down and Kidman fights him off. Eddie and somebody else, and I didn't even see who else it was.
Oh, and Juventude. It was
Juventude.
No.
Well, Eddie comes down originally with just somebody, and then Hoovy appears out of nowhere.
Oh. Because I thought it was just Eddie and Juventude that came down.
Yeah, either way, Hoovy sneaks in and hits a Hoovy driver on Ray.
Because, of course, the LWO was going to interfere in this match.
Yeah, Kidman hits a shooting star press on Ray with an announcer's note that he didn't see the interference, so he's not blatantly trying to cheat. And he retains, and I think they literally held on him for about 7 seconds and then went to commercial.
Oh, yeah.
You ready for some more Mean Gene?
Mean Woo Baga Gene?
Well, we do get Flair in this, but it's not...
Mean Gene! It's that kind of Flair.
I think that's later. I think this one
is that next episode, maybe?
Because we get Mean Gene interviewing Eric Bischoff. And we had a debate whether or not Eric Bischoff looked like Mark Ruffalo or Mark Wahlberg.
I swear he looks like Mark Wahlberg, especially in the leather jacket.
I think he looks like 90s, early 2000s Mark Ruffalo. Because you were looking up young Mark Ruffalo. When
you
he's
told me to
teenager.
Google young Mark Ruffalo.
No, don't you Google Mark Ruffalo. I didn't say young.
Yes, you did.
I just said not current one.
You said younger Mark Ruffalo.
Younger, not young.
So young.
No, I don't need him when he's 10.
Oh my god, okay.
Eric Bischoff says that they're going to settle this tonight. Sure you are.
No, they're not.
It's not like there's a big pay-per-view coming up or anything.
Could never.
Bischoff says he runs the company for better or worse.
Yeah, there's a lot of for better or worse happening this week. Like, are they aware that they're putting on a bad product? And they're like, deal with it. This is what you get.
I don't know. But he says Scott Hall learned this the hard way. He then calls out Ric Flair to settle things. Flair comes out to his 2001 A Space Odyssey music.
comes out looking like he walked into the ring from a parent-teacher conference. He's in, like, khakis and a button-down.
Yeah,
I
guess it is kind of strange that he's not coming down in the, $10,000 suit, the Gucci shoes, the Rolex.
Yeah, it is kind of strange he's not wearing, like, the big robe, but I guess that's later.
Well, that's two different looks. So he will wear the robe, usually for, I guess, for matches, which we still have not seen Ric Flair wrestle,
Nope.
but, like, older Ric Flair would come out in, like, full, suits.
It just seems so
dress to the nines.
understated.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
So Flair acknowledges that he's overwhelmed that Bischoff is like, all right, you want to, like, get eye-to-eye. Like, I, kind of respect that. Bischoff says their feud has affected everyone around them, the company, like their families, yada, yada, yada. And Bischoff says that Flair can't dispute that Bischoff's in control. And Flair says that I acknowledge that even Ted Turner makes some mistakes.
And you're one of them.
Yeah.
It's like, drop the mic.
So Bischoff notes that from last week that Flair can't hire or fire anybody, but he brings out Barry Windham. Bischoff says that Windham is going to knock Flair on his ass, and Flair talks about tradition.
Tradition.
But Bischoff says that he has the power. Bischoff slaps him, and Flair goes to attack back, but Windham attacks Flair.
Yeah, the fucking heel turn of the century.
Windham holds Flair, and Bischoff just stomps him and kicks him. Horsemen come down, but in the middle of them running down to the ring, the New World Order catch them and start beating the shit out of them. Which I'm like, how?
Yeah, because it was like on the ring, and they're like, nope, stopping them before they can get in. Or on the ramp, not on the ring.
Yeah. Somehow, Eric Bischoff knows that Malenko now has a bad knee from this attack and books Dean Malenko versus Bret Hart.
Okay, so this attack is how Dean Malenko hurt his knee?
That's what I thought it was implied.
I thought there was a match that we skipped that Dean hurt his knee.
I think it was this.
They didn't even really focus on Dean.
Yeah, I'd say they kind of focus on everybody equally, but if it's giving us Dean Malenko versus Bret Hart, I'm not upset.
Fair.
We get our second match of the night. We get Conan versus Booker T.
So this is the first time I noticed, I think he was still wearing these pants last time, but I like the fire pants on Booker T.
Oh yeah, they're from, him and his brother were a team called Harlem Heat.
I like him.
So Conan comes out and cuts his usual Spanglish promo, which I'm pretty sure he cut earlier in the night.
Was it the same promo?
It might have been.
I don't speak Spanish.
I am saying I don't mean that in a racist way, but I mean that more in a wouldn't shock me if the NWO is just cutting the same fucking promo over and over again. I thought it was nice to hear, but strange that Booker T still has the same theme song all these years later.
Yeah, I did kind of notice that. There's like not really much variant on it either.
There's a little bit of a longer intro. There's more of the yes, yes, yes. No.
Yeah.
Does it slap?
It's not memorable enough to me to like slap, but it doesn't. It kind of slaps.
It's a bop.
It's a bop. It's a bop. It doesn't slap. It's a bop.
I don't know the difference between these things.
It's a bop. If you can like jam to it, it's a jam. It's a bop. Doesn't slap though.
So this is a pretty standard match. Like I don't have a lot from this, but Heenan does put Booker T over on commentary, saying like, "Listen, every 6 months, like this guy's getting better and better. Like you like." Basically, you can see the improvement any 6 months at a time.
Okay, well that's nice. He's actually like getting the recognition.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard match until Booker T hits a scissor kick and Stevie Ray comes out.
Well, no, we missed the one spinneroonie that I've ever enjoyed.
That's literally as Stevie Ray is walking out. Yeah, because the scissor kick here is not a finisher.
No.
Yeah, because Booker misses an elbow drop, and then to get up, he does the spinneroonie to kind of roll up.
He got this. He hit the spinneroonie to get up. He didn't hit it as a taunt, as like a look at my hand, look at how powerful my hand is. Like no, he just kind of did a spin and stood up. And I was like, that was cool. See, that was smooth. That was cool.
To me, this is it's almost even sillier. It's like, why don't you just stand up rather than doing this
cool.
elaborate spin?
This makes more sense to me than the spinneroonie or like the taunting spinneroonie. This one I liked. I saw it, and I was like, that's what I want the spinneroonie to be.
So Stevie Ray slapjacks Conan, which results in a DQ.
Mm-hmm.
Stevie then grabs a mic and says that he whooped Conan's ass in 3 minutes at World War III, but Booker couldn't do it in 10. Note that Bell to DQ, the match had been happening for 3.5 minutes. And the match at World War III was 6 minutes and 55 seconds, which Stevie Ray won by DQ.
I just don't think that Stevie Ray thought anyone was paying attention.
That is fair, because I'm sure if I asked you what was the result of that match, you probably would not have remembered.
I also have the memory of goldfish. I need to start doing like Sudoku puzzles to get my memory back up and drinking some green tea. But
yeah, I don't even remember how this segment ends outside of that. It just kind of does.
It is. Yeah, they argue and, you know, like, you're no brother of mine, basically. It's just more like brother brawls.
I think you're giving this almost too much credit. I don't think they even did that.
I probably
That's what should have happened. But we get another Mean Gene appearance.
Mean Woo Bye Guy Gene.
This time interviewing Bret Hart. And hold on, I'm going to go back and count.
There's so much Gene in this episode, and he's not even done.
Oh, yeah, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 5th Mean Gene appearance.
And doesn't he come out again later?
Yes. You will see Mean Gene 6 times on this Nitro.
That's insane. That's too much Gene. And not one Mean Woo Bye God Gene.
Well, only one person's going to do that.
I know, but we didn't get
But
it.
you want Bret Hart? Mean Woo By God Gene. Bret Hart says that he should be U.S. champion. He calls DDP's win cheap. And then he calls DDP cheap and a punk, and the people are punks.
Yeah.
It was real like, oh, go, you're a heel. I get it. He wants a rematch. And he notes that Malenko apparently has a bad leg and gives a little...
He's still going to beat the hell out of him.
He gives him a little cheeky evil smile when he says it, like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do.
You got a bad leg. Ooh.
Yeah, Gene...
You telling me your knees are weak?
Gene then overstates the point, and the promo's over. And I'm like, just cut away. He made his point. You don't need to... Like, you need to see backstage so the wrestler can walk away.
Oh, true. But like, I feel like Gene just needs to get the last word. Like, I've been saying this a lot at work, but I'm like, some people just really love the sound of their own voice, and I'm starting to think that Mean Gene is one of those people.
I mean, keep in mind, if production was unhappy with what he was doing, they would tell him to stop.
Yeah.
No one's telling him to stop.
Yeah, you're right.
So, our third match of this that we watched...
God, we only watched 3 matches.
We watched 5 on this show. But our third match is Wrath versus Kevin Nash. And as soon as... I think they mentioned this earlier during one of the segments. And I was like, oh, so that streak is definitely ending tonight.
Yeah.
So I was wrong last episode. I noted that I didn't think it was going to happen on TV.
Which it does.
Yeah.
Or on free TV, you said.
Yeah, I think it was happening on free TV. But I did think it was going to happen with somebody in the NWO.
So you were half right.
Yes. Even though I will admit I thought it would have been black and white that ended it.
I still have a hard time just like deciphering. There's so many NWO. I realize only 3
2.
of them are in the Wolfpack. But like at that point, what's the point?
Yeah, I noted that, I think, for the next episode. That
What's the point of the Wolfpack?
There were more people.
Where'd they go? To black and white?
Do you want to hear, fresh from Friday's SmackDown, do you want to hear one of the stupidest group names?
Oh, no.
Baron Corbin has a new stable. Oh. They are the Knights of the Lone Wolf.
I hate Baron Corbin. Like, I don't even think that he's playing a character. I think he's actually this much of an asshole.
So, Wrath says, fuck you to Nash, who responds with a suck it.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's a big pop.
Yeah. People just love that in 98.
Suck it.
Commentary claims that it's a good idea to get Nash in the corner. I'm like, you mean where he gets all of his offense? So Wrath pump kicks Nash and then drop kicks him out of the ring. And I was kind of surprised that he was getting as much offense as he was.
Honestly, I liked this match. This match made me kind of like Wrath. He was getting some good hits in, and he was like holding his own for a while. Like, he looked good.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't know that he vanishes after this, but
Okay,
it
I'm
wouldn't
scared to
shock me.
ask. Is he alive?
He is alive.
Yes! We got one!
His career's dead, though.
But he's alive. He didn't overdose or die of head trauma. Great.
So Nash
We're doing all right.
So Nash gets Wrath in the corner and hits the patented knee lifts and back elbows. The Kevin Nash offense. Wrath counters a scoop slam and hits a back suplex. Follows it up with a diving clothesline.
Okay.
Tony, I don't think it was meant to be a burial, but it's like, I don't know if we can get Kevin Nash up for the meltdown.
Well, Wrath is not that big of a guy. Like, he's big, but he's not, like, Kevin Nash big.
Yeah, it was just like considering it's not going to happen in this match, I don't know how much of a talking point it needed to be. I think you just inadvertently called the guy weak.
I don't think that was a slight as much of a, hey, remember Kevin Nash is large. Don't forget, he's big.
So Nash hits a big boot and then drops the straps.
Which got a huge pop because big sexy Kevin Nash.
Hits the jackknife pin.
The end.
Yeah, kind of a...
Streak's over.
Yeah, kind of an anticlimactic ending. So this is where I wanted to talk about this. They were saying the undefeated streak. He's lost on WCW television, both as Wrath and as other people. He's on a winning streak.
Oh, okay.
But they say undefeated streak. That's not the same thing. Goldberg has an undefeated streak.
So at this point in Goldberg's career in WCW, he has never been beaten.
Correct.
Okay.
Wrath has lost before, even as Wrath. But
so he's just on a winning streak.
But I think he had an injury and he came back. Once he came back, he won a bunch of matches in a row. However, you still lost beforehand. Once you've lost once, you can't have an undefeated streak.
Yeah. I guess that's fair.
You could have a winning streak.
But no one's paying attention to that in 1998.
Yeah, it's like Undertaker's streak.
1998 did not have the luxury that is Wikipedia. Or if they didn't have it on their phones of like, hey, let me look up the stats. Like, they had to go into the computer room of the house.
Yeah, thank you to Profile Database for allowing me to check that.
Oh.
Because I just looked, I'm like, all right, maybe he didn't lose in 98. Let me see if he lost in 97. Like, literally the last Nitro of 97, he lost to Meng.
Oh, well. Meng is terrifying.
Yes.
Like, not even as a character. Like, shoot, Meng is terrifying.
So, what do you think? Is Wrath gonna do anything as a singles guy now?
No, I think Wrath is done. He had one thing going for him, and that was his, quote, undefeated streak, and now that's over, so what's the point of Wrath?
Guess he'll have to find somebody else in the back and get some chronic.
And then go to WWE and ruin it all in one match?
They'll be in WCW for a while as chronic, though.
Okay.
Oh, and I told you this off the podcast. I felt stupid when I thought about it, talking about how, we trained this guy who has a karate background.
Oh, yeah, so last time...
he's Adam Bomb.
Oh.
It's like, oh, no, you were in WWE. It's basically the same wrestler. I think he is a little bit bulkier now.
Yeah, it just kind of bummed me out. Because the last time we were watching an episode or recording, I think, and they mentioned, this guy has a martial arts background, and I was mad because I was like, well...
I mean, granted, he still may, but it's like, he wasn't some prospect.
He wasn't a Steve Blackman.
No. I mean, he wasn't some prospect you trained at, the power plant. This is a guy you signed from WWE and just gave him a different gimmick.
Yeah.
So we get Mean Gene for the final time tonight.
The 6th time.
With Chris Jericho.
With the hair.
Yeah, state of his fucking hair.
This hair, honey, my baby, love, what is you doing? Is you okay? He didn't really explain it either.
No.
He just kind of came up and his hair was just standing straight up, not in a floof, not in a little ponytail, just combed your hair straight up.
Bedhead.
I was like, hon, you're so cute. What are you doing?
Nothing really special from Jericho here. He says that he's everyone's role model because he's better than everybody.
Of course.
So they should look up to him.
Of course. That makes sense.
He also notes that he hates cowboys since Stu Hart made him be one.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know how I felt about it. just weird kind of kayfabe breaking stuff like that. I'm like, it's not totally necessary.
No, I guess it wasn't necessary,
there is a way to do kayfabe breaks, and I mean, this one wasn't egregious by any state.
No,
but,
I think that this is definitely passable.
Yeah.
Like,
apparently, he's still feuding with Bobby Duncombe Jr.
Yep.
Because Bobby Duncombe comes out and brings out Ralphus and hog ties him.
Well, before the hog tie, Mean Gene's asking him about, Bobby Duncombe. And Jericho's like calling him Bobby Duncan. And Mean Gene's like, no, Duncombe. And he's like, Duncombe. Like, he made a point of saying it.
It's because Jericho is physically incapable of saying someone's name right, I think is the
Listen,
joke.
Gene Mean. It just made me giggle. It was funny.
So
then the hog tie.
Yeah, so Ralphus gets hogtied, and Jericho is trying to get him out. When they come back from commercial, Scott Hall comes by. We mentioned this earlier. Kind of walks by him, kind of gives him a what a geek kind of look, and it's like a okay.
That was strange. Like, they could have done that differently. So, like, for context,
I don't think it's a coincidence that Kevin Nash, who may be booking the show, shits on Jericho. I don't call him Wolfpackaholics, and then Jericho looks like a chump about a guy who I don't know if he faces again. And, continues to look worse and worse.
I just really liked the detail of, we left for commercial when Jericho was trying to untie Ralphus, and they come back from commercial, and he's still trying to untie Ralphus. He's, in the way. I thought that was a good detail.
Oh, yeah. Bit of continuity.
Yeah, I was expecting... I was expecting Scott Hall to kind of say something, or, stop and be like, what the fuck are you doing in the way? But he just kind of, shrugged him off, ugh. You.
I do like sometimes when people just shit other storylines are going on and people are just that's fucking weird. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Anyway. It wouldn't have been out of character though for Scott Hall to come up to them and be like, get the fuck out of my way. This is my ramp. Get out.
Yeah, he's currently trying to be a face.
Is he?
Yeah. Scott Hall is doing a face. The NWO turned on him, so he is a face.
He's not a face.
He is. I'm going to tell you that. He is being positioned as a face.
Some people just aren't faces.
He's being positioned as a face. Just because you don't think he should be a face doesn't mean he's not a face.
I have a hard time deciphering who is heel and who is face because of shit like this. Because Scott Hall is not acting like a face. He's acting like an asshole. And I don't think assholes are faces.
We're moving on. Because next up, we have Bret Hart versus Dean Malenko, which I was worried because we saw there was only 20 minutes left in the timeline. On the network, and I'm like, oh no, don't.
Because it was this one, and there was another match, wasn't there?
Yes, because after this is Goldberg versus the Giant for the world title. But,
yeah, so 20 minutes left in the show, and there are 2 big matches left.
Yeah,
and we're like,
oh no. I want to see this match because I kept expecting it to end early, and it didn't.
No,
they gave it some time.
Oh yeah,
because there's a commercial break. I think there's only one. There might have been 2
in the middle of the match. Yeah.
Yeah, but both come out. Dean comes out to the Four Horsemen theme, which
doesn't slap, but it grooves.
It grooves. Bret works over the knee immediately.
No shit. Of course he does.
Yeah. Dean fights back and tries for an odd technical pin. I don't really know what he was going for, but Bret ends up getting the ropes. Look like he's trying to hook both legs. I was really kind of confused about what he was going for, and just ended with them going to the ropes. And I'm like, okay, just reset.
Yeah, I think he was maybe trying for something else, and it just didn't take, and they're just like, no, never mind, move on.
Back from commercial, we kind of see the general story of this match is Dean finally getting some substantial offense, but every move is kind of hurting his knee more and more.
Good for Dean, though. Really selling his leg.
Yes.
Through the entire match, it's he's got a limp, he's hurting. It's not just when he gets hit. Oh, yeah, by the way, his knee's hurt. He did good.
Bret goes for a different version of an elbow drop from Bret's rope and misses. Because normally he kind of drops it, I'm going to have to do this visually, like this. And he kind of drop almost lands on his knees, kind of going forward.
Oh, okay.
Here, he didn't have taken a back bump when he missed. It was a weird, more Shawn Michaels elbow kind of drop. It's an odd choice, but he missed. So
I guess it was fine.
I guess that's why he did that.
I don't know. I didn't think about that.
Bret hits a back suplex to escape from a sleeper that Dean has on him, but once they land, Dean still holds on to the sleeper. I thought that was a really cool spot.
Yeah.
And right around here, both of us looked at each other because there's a large "show your tits" chant.
Who was that possibly directed at?
Somebody in the crowd.
At the crowd?
Somebody, yeah.
Oh.
Because clearly some hot chick, and they're like, "Oh, show your tits."
I
Has
love
that ever
wrestling
worked?
fans. No.
Actually, it worked once in WWE. I'm pretty sure she was a plant.
It works at Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Like, if you're in a parade or if you're on, like, Bourbon Street and it's midnight and everybody's drunk, like, yeah, girls are going to show their tits. Like,
yeah,
that's not wrestling.
Yeah, no, Triple H and Shawn Michaels were like, this one hot chick in the front row was like, "Pull your tits out," and she does.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm pretty sure she's a plant. That's cool.
It's fine if the girl's cool with it, but if a guy is just like, show your tits, like, that's not cool. But if a girl's like, "Hey, you want to see my boobs?" Like, that's great. You go, girl. Show us your boobs.
So Brett goes back on offense and just continues to work over the knee. Dean manages to hit an enziguri, but the crowd is dead for some reason. I'm like, fuck them.
Yeah.
I guess she didn't show her tits.
She didn't show her tits, so the crowd was like, I guess we gotta watch the match.
I had a bad experience during a Dean Malenko Bret Hart match. This chick didn't show her tits. Who won? I don't know. Not me. Not me that night.
Not me.
Dean manages to get back on offense and slaps on the Texas Cloverleaf, but Brett gets to the ropes, which is a move I try to slap on you sometimes.
Oh, yeah. We never really do it right.
No. The Cloverleaf I kind of get better than the sharpshooter.
Yeah, you do not get the sharpshooter right, ever.
Dean goes for it again, but Brett counters, and they stumble to the outside, which looked a little sloppy, but I think it was intentionally so, because the commentators note that Brett lands on Dean's knee.
Dean's knees?
Brett goes for the chair on the outside, but Dean manages to counter. Dean tosses the chair in the ring, and while the ref wrestles it from Brett, Dean manages to hit a missile dropkick from the top rope. Dean goes to leapfrog Brett after tossing him into the ropes, but manages to clip his leg on Brett when he goes under.
Yeah.
So Brett goes to slam Dean's leg into the post and does it twice, and I think both of us were like,
"Oh, that hurts."
Well, no, I thought he was going for the figure four.
That would hurt.
Like, that's why I was like, "Oh!" He didn't do it. I'm like, "Oh." He then hits a diamond cutter onto the chair for a DQ.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay.
A choice.
Yeah.
A choice.
So Dean wins by DQ, but Brett just keeps attacking him until DDP comes out and fights him off.
Yeah, he comes through the crowd. He comes through the crowd, which I know is like his thing, but every time it happens, like, oh shit, there's DDP coming through the crowd.
DDP goes for a diamond cutter, but Brett is just like all tangled up in the ropes. Like, you're not hitting that move. Brett goes to bail, but DDP grabs a mic and challenges Hart to fight him. Hart kind of considers and then ends up going to the back. DDP says the rematch will happen next week.
Yes.
I thought it was a good match. I was glad.
I did too.
I was
thought it was good.
glad they gave it the time.
Yeah, it deserved the time.
Yeah.
It was good. It didn't feel like it was dragging at any point. Like, Dean Malenko's a good wrestler that like kind of gets like hidden in the shadows of the Horsemen, especially when they come to WWE. Like, you don't really see Dean on his own a lot.
Yeah.
And when the Horsemen break up, like, where the hell does Dean go?
I think the Radicals there. That's two different groups.
Radicals. You're right.
Yeah. But, because, he currently is slightly buried in the Horsemen. It seems like he's... Yeah, because it seems like he's newer in the Horsemen, too, based on stuff from the next episode.
Yeah.
I was a little sad to see the DQ finish, especially with Dean having a bad knee. I feel like you could have had him lose and he wouldn't have lost too much steam, but...
No.
It says something that they don't want to have him tap out or get pinned. So
I thought it was still good, even even with a DQ finish.
So our main event for the first of two Nitros is Goldberg versus the Giant,
which I'd like to note has 6 minutes for intros and the match.
Yeah, because when we come back from commercial, Giant's already in the ring. Michael Buffer's there.
They rush through Michael Buffer's stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, when we cut to the backstage for Goldberg's entrance, he's not in the locker room. He's, like, out ready.
He's already walking. He's like, come on, we gotta go.
Like, we got things to do.
While he's coming out, Bobby Heenan notes that this isn't music you dance to.
Don't test me.
I know. I want to see that play at a club now.
Fuck yeah. Remember clubs.
Or a dubstep remix of Goldberg's theme.
Yeah, I could absolutely dance to Goldberg's theme.
They also know that they're already overtime.
Yeah. When this match starts.
Yeah.
Like, we're overtime.
Yeah, they're in the overrun already. But Goldberg...
But fucking Gene Mean had how many segments? And we're overtime! Ah! Who's the producer?
But Goldberg, he really is just a huge fucking star here.
Oh yeah.
Like I can't say that enough, that he is over.
Yes.
And
but for a reason. Like,
and he's over in like wrestling terms, not hashtag Goldberg is over party. But yeah, Michael Buffer's here for some reason.
And he's like zooming through.
They do put him through the TV speakers.
Yes, they do. Because he's getting how much money for every Let's Get Ready to Rumble?
Too much.
Yeah. So they got to give him the time if they're paying him.
They also note that Goldberg is 162-0, which is higher than the number from the other week, which is like 140, 150.
It's got to be inflated, unless they're doing like 20 house shows.
I mean, it's been a couple weeks,
I guess, but still.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's house shows and dark matches. I would assume.
Still.
Also, they definitely were inflating it at various points, so I don't
deny it.
Yeah, no one. I don't think anyone's been able to actually discern the real number.
Again, you have the luxury of not having Twitter and Wikipedia in the hands of every person in that arena at the time. So you can say any number you want. And they're like, oh, okay.
They try that, and we'll get there eventually, but they try that. This is going to be quick, but I'm fine with it. This Goldberg and the Giant doesn't need to be a 20-minute match.
But the amount of stuff they cram into this match, like my eyes glazed over. I was like, there's so much happening.
Yeah. Giant drops the strap early and hits a chokeslam almost immediately. Goldberg kicks out and the Giant chops him, but it only fires Goldberg up.
Yeah.
Goldberg spears him, hits a jackhammer, and a pin. I did find it interesting. They're like, I don't know if he can get him up for the jackhammer. He's done it a handful of times.
Yeah. I feel like they say that every time, too. They're like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, well, that will continue with John Cena. Because he'll fight the Big Show a million times in his career, and it's like, oh, I don't know if he can get him up.
These men bench a lot of weight.
Well, keep in mind, that is legitimately a lot of fucking weight.
I mean, sure it is, but like these men are strong.
Yeah, I've seen Wade Barrett try to hit his finisher on Big Show, which is literally just getting him up on the shoulders, then like dropping him forward, and oh man, it looks like a baby giraffe trying to walk for the first time.
Oh, Wade Barrett.
Bigelow is like in the ring as the bell is sounding.
Yeah, and then Bam Bam comes out of nowhere
and attacks Goldberg. And then Nash walks out, tits out.
Tits out. Like, straps are down, he is ready. This is what I mean by there's just so much happening. Like, there's the entrance, and then there's the match, and then there's the pin, and then there's Bam Bam, and then there's Kevin. And I'm like...
That must have been who they were chanting it at. Kevin Nash, show your tits.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Big Sexy.
I don't think so.
I don't want Big Sexy to show their tits.
He's not Big Sexy.
So they kind of have a pull apart brawl, and that's the end of the episode. Not a bad episode.
I mean, no.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Of the episodes that we have watched, this is definitely the one that held my attention the best. But yeah, this last match, like we watched it and I just had to like lean back. I'm like, what is happening? Everything is happening. I can't keep track of what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, I think I told you again off the podcast that I found the results for the that Tuesday Nitro they mentioned that happened before World War III, and they're Goldberg's gonna wrestle on there and beat Mang in like 2 minutes. Nothing of note. Because there's also, I think that they say after the next episode Nitro, which is the November 30th, 1998 Nitro, I think they say there's going to be another like 1 hour Tuesday Nitro.
So is that our transition into the November 30th Nitro?
Yeah, let's go with it.
Let's go.
Commentators mentioned that Hulk Hogan retired on the Tonight Show to focus on running for president. Like, oh, we can't run the NWO and the country. So.
Okay, it's 1998. The election's not until 2000. You're not worried about running the country yet. Also, you're not going to run the country.
You're assuming he even runs for president.
He doesn't. I remember.
So only Tony and Larry this week. No Mike today. He's a little under the weather. They hype the contract signing between Goldberg and Kevin Nash for later. Wanted to ask you, how long do you think Hulk Hogan's retirement lasts?
I'm thinking he's back at Starrcade.
Okay, so you're a little early.
Okay.
You're like 2 weeks early.
Oh, fuck.
You're not early by much.
Well, because at this point we haven't really seen him because he wasn't on World War III.
Yeah, he just vanishes.
So we haven't seen him. So it would make sense for him to be back at Starrcade in my head. But
so the NWO Black and White arrive in limos.
Mm-hmm.
And
because they're fancy boys.
Yeah. The other half of Chronic is suddenly here.
Yeah, apparently he's part of NWO.
Yeah, Bryan Adams, NWO.
Not the country singer, Bryan Adams.
No.
Different guy.
And we had a long debate about whether or not one of the members was Horace Hogan or Scott Norton.
We pulled up Google images, it's definitely not Scott whatever.
And I think we paused to do so, and then we hit play. Scott Steiner turns to him and goes, Horace! And I'm like,
ha!
I'm like, we could just waited 4 seconds. But the commentators discuss who's going to be the new leader of the NWO.
The heir apparent.
Yes. No Buff Bagwell.
No.
Just wasn't with him at all.
His mom didn't sign his permission slip.
Yeah, no Judy Bagwell. No Rick Steiner either.
No, you're right.
It
was only Scott.
Yeah. I'm wondering if Rick is shoot hurt because it seemed seemed like he was doing much at that angle at World War III. It was either good selling or he actually has a shoulder injury. Yeah, Bischoff names Steiner the heir apparent. There's no controversy about who's running the show.
It's never even really a question. Nope, it's Scott.
Yeah, Scott Steiner asked for a moment of silence for Hulk Hogan.
He didn't die. Why would you need a moment of silence? He's not dead.
For his career. It's
he's not retired.
What are you talking about? He said he retired. What did he say he was going to retire if he didn't retire?
Yes.
On a related note, we've talked about how you hate fake retirements in wrestling. Or not even fake retirements. Retirements that... I guess you can describe it better than I can.
When wrestlers say they're going to retire and seem kind of sincere about it and then come back 3 months later. Why did we have this whole pomp and circumstance of you retiring if you're coming back in a month?
So, and on this topic, we've talked about Terry Funk. Terry Funk, who I believe his last WWE match was in 2006, unless there's one I'm missing. I heard a number. Do you know when the first time he retired was?
Well, it's before the McFoley book, because he mentions it in that he's retiring for a multiple number of times. Yes,
because you think he was coming out of retirement in 97. His apparently first retirement was 1984.
At what point is he doing it just for comedic value?
I don't know how much of it's comedic versus you can market. I'm coming out of retirement.
Market it, yeah, but how many times can you say I'm coming out of retirement until people are like, you were never retired?
I think he's trying to find that out. So Steiner says that Hogan is watching them right now, and Hogan gave the go ahead, you're the new leader of the NWO. I'm like, all right.
I wonder, did he say that on Jay Leno?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Well, because wasn't there kind of a brawl on Jay Leno? Weren't you telling me there was something on a late night show?
That was before this. That was to set up the match.
Oh.
The Jay Leno match at
that makes more sense.
Road Wild or something.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, because Hogan and Bischoff took over the Tonight Show.
Oh God.
I think it was only for a couple minutes. Security.
Still, that's too much. That's too many minutes.
I was looking at Scott Steiner and how fucking inflated that man is.
Yeah.
They should have given him a Bane gimmick, where you have you have a different wrestler with the same facial hair, and then he gets all juiced up, and Scott Steiner comes out, and it's
that would have been good. But
although then again, maybe I don't want to have somebody getting all juiced up.
It's too real.
They have that in reality.
No, Scott Steiner, if you blow in his general direction, he will pop.
I think it was somebody on the Ad Share podcast who said he looks like a bag of bowling balls with skin stretched over it. Something to that effect. Oh God. No, I think it was of cannonballs.
Well, there was a point where Scott Steiner was in the ring and he was showing off his muscles.
Yes,
and
he says he has the largest arms in the world and the best body.
And he said something about having the highest peaks too of his muscles. I'm that's not natural. Your arm should not look like that. You remember that episode of SpongeBob that's you need to have muscles on your muscles? That's what he looks like.
Yes.
You need to have muscles on your eyeballs. Scott Steiner does.
So he also claims that the NWO are a band of thieves and calls out Scott Hall. Says the NWO are going to bury him and tells him to try to find a partner. Who's it going to be?
Well, it's definitely not going to be Kevin Nash because Kevin Nash said that Scott Hall has to come to him.
Yeah.
It would never.
So we get into a match way earlier in this episode.
Yeah.
Because we start with Conan
well, we also skipped like the whole first hour of the show.
Yeah. We get Conan versus Chris Jericho. Conan cuts his usual Spanglish promo.
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah. Again, he just has real basic offense. Like, it's real kind of nothing matches with him.
Yeah.
Like, nothing he does is, like, super impressive.
No. But thankfully, Jericho's back to his regular floof. He's not got the crazy bedhead anymore.
Yes. So Jericho, at one point, vaults Conan into the ropes and then hits a triangle dropkick before vaulting himself, like, over the ropes and then tosses Conan into the stairs. It's a nice, like, kind of string.
Yeah. It feels like, yeah, Conan has, like, really basic matches, but this one, Jericho just felt mean. Like, he was just beating the shit out of this guy.
Jericho is a heel.
Well, yeah, but this one was just like, yikes, dude, this is fucking ruthless.
We get a cocky pin from Jericho with the...
With the pout.
I would say with the, come on, baby. And then
Ask him!
Yeah, and then gets him in a chin lock and immediately, ask him. Ask him.
The second he locks in, ask him!
Jericho goes up top, and I can you acknowledge that I did correctly call? About to get a flying nothing here.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Jericho doesn't do top rope moves.
No.
At least while they're on the ground. He'll do a crossbody. Yeah, because Jericho just dives to land on his feet, and then Conan sticks his boot up, and it hits Jericho in the face. And again, it's like, what were you going for?
He just leaps off the top and doesn't, like, project himself anywhere. He just kind of jumps.
Yeah, like, there's a way to do it to where it looks like, oh, I saw them move. I'm going to, like, stop what I'm doing. This was not it. Conan hits a pseudo-perfect plex for a pretty good near fall.
Yeah.
Jericho hits a lion salt, but Conan kicks out at 1. I'm like, okay. I don't know whether that was... That's another thing where I'm like, are you trying to bury the guy?
Oh, fair. I mean, we are getting closer. Like, we're still about a year away, but we're getting closer to him leaving the company.
Yeah, less than a year, because he's in like, September.
Oh, okay.
Conan counters a corner head scissors into a nice Alabama slam, and commentary mentions that this is apparently a title match.
Yeah, this is where we realize that this is for the TV belt.
Yeah. And you know who probably said that? The ring announcer.
Would have been nice to have heard it.
Like, the ref does... I went back. The ref does not hold up the belt to, like, show this is a title match.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a title match.
Yeah.
Jericho slaps on the lion tamer, but Conan gets to the ropes because he puts it on about 6 inches from the ropes.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking there.
Jericho thinks he's won and celebrates with a belt until Conan hits a facebuster onto the belt and wins.
Yeah.
Now, I guess it's a different setup. What was the finish of the Bret Hart-Dean Malenko match?
Okay, yeah, it was a diamond cutter onto the chair.
Which resulted in...
A DQ.
This is a facebuster onto a title belt.
It should have been a DQ! I missed it! I'm always looking for DQs.
Nash and Luger come down to celebrate. And, yeah, Conan is your new TV
belt champion? TV champion?
New television champion.
Sure.
Yeah, so it seems weird to say TV champion.
Television champ.
Yeah. Which I never really know what that belt is. Why is it the television? I mean, I guess why is anything called anything, but the television one always kind of gave me a weird vibe.
I don't know.
I guess you can't defend it at house shows. I don't know. Next up, we get a Mean Gene interview with Ric Flair, and Flair notes that he is not going to do his woo, by God, Gene.
Yeah. Instead, he just comes in and goes, Mean Gene!
Yeah. He's like, I got to focus. He kind of notes that he's not getting old. He's getting great.
Oh, yeah.
Or he kind of acknowledges that he is...
Getting old is one thing, getting great is another.
Yes. He put it in a good way. I'm like, I typed it and I went, yeah, that's not really his point.
Yeah.
But... Which is true, because he still is one of the best wrestlers in the company.
Yeah, and he's not going anywhere anytime soon.
He runs through the people who helped build WCW. I didn't find any odd people in that list. It all kind of seemed like the old school kind of people. He notes that he's disappointed at Wyndham, but he's mad at Bischoff.
Mm-hmm. Which is fair.
He also says that Eric Bischoff is an abuse of power and an asshole. It's a nice
also accurate.
I think they said you can bleep me if you want, but he's an asshole.
He's an asshole.
They did not bleep it. Flair also says that Bischoff can fire him, but people will ask, why weren't you willing to fight Flair? And Flair wants to fight. And that's the end of the segment.
All right.
Not totally necessary, but it's Ric Flair. It's he's not going to cut a bad promo.
Right.
That's a lot of these, just like kind of unnecessary segments. This one borders on being unnecessary because we have Scott Hall coming out to no music and an Outsiders shirt.
Yes.
He says he'll fight the NWO one-on-one because he doesn't really have any friends right now. Kevin Nash comes out and gives Hall a wave with a dumbass smile on his face for giving the crowd a hey yo of his own.
Hey yo.
Nash says he'll be Hall's partner, or as he puts it, he'll be his Huckleberry.
But again, in the last episode, Kevin Nash was like, I don't trust the guy, and if he wants to be my friend, he's got to come to me. Kevin Nash is coming to him.
Yep.
Huh?
I don't know. I mean, Hall did seem real pathetic coming out. It did seem real, all shucks, Charlie Brown kind of.
But it's also Scott Hall. I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for the guy.
He's got no friends.
I don't care. He's a dick.
So I have not been keeping track of Mean Gene on the show, though maybe we should, because I think this is only his second time. I think he's more in check for this one. Yeah, I think only 2 for Mean Gene on the show.
Good.
Because we have him interviewing Bret Hart. And they note that it was 1 year ago, on the day of this Nitro, that Hart debuted in WCW.
Oh. Which
means the screw job is right around this time.
Yeah.
Because he didn't come like the next night. I think he showed up on pay-per-view, I guess, considering this is Monday. It would have had to been Sunday. And I actually noted it during for the Dean Malenko match, but it's 1 year removed and they have done massive damage to his star power.
Yeah.
He was, you could make a case for him being the biggest star in WWE when he left. And is he in the top 3 here?
I don't know if he's top 3, but I'd say he's like top 5.
Yeah, it just he doesn't seem like his biggest star, and that's probably having to do with how he came in. Because do you know what the first thing he did, like his first major thing he did? He was a ref.
Really? Oh wait, in WCW, you told me this.
Yes, he was a special guest ref for Eric Bischoff versus Larry Zbyszko.
Okay.
And then he had a weird moment at the end of the main event of Starrcade, which I don't want to give away because we will likely watch at some point. I have a list of bonus episodes to do. I don't know when we'll get to them, but I just know WrestleMania 17 will not be one of them. That will be the last episode.
That's the last episode?
I mean, Nitro dies. WCW dies the last Nitro before WrestleMania 17.
Fair.
So it makes sense to...
Yeah?
Though I do plan on doing WrestleMania 15.
Okay.
When we get to it in our timeline, which is actually only a couple months from this point.
Damn.
I figure we'll take a little peek in to...
We'll do some
WWE.
bonus episodes.
Yeah, we will peek into WWE occasionally.
Yeah.
I'm going to try not to do it too much, but our first one will be sooner than you think. Mm-hmm. In the promo, Bret claims that DDP is trying to get people to end his career, which I thought was... I'm torn whether or not I like heel Bret Hart here, or if he's going so ridiculous that it doesn't work. It's like a weird line.
He's on that line, yeah.
He does it well. I think that's why it works. But I'm sure DDP is trying to get people to take you out.
Oh, God, yeah.
He claims he has a groin injury. And in what may be my favorite line in the podcast, none of you people got groins. What?
What were you going for there, Brett?
I think it was none of you have, balls or
have an injury like this. Or...
No, I think he's saying you have no, none of you have balls. None of you are tough.
Oh.
I think that's what he's going for, but none of you got groins.
No, Brett, everyone in the room, women, men, everyone in between has a groin.
Yeah, and he claims he can't fight tonight, and he does the, we saw this a few weeks ago with Lex as well, where it's the doctors say I can't fight.
Yeah, he's like, I got doctors in the back. They tell me I want to fight, but I can't. The doctors.
DDP comes out through the crowd, and he really does love the phrase hit scum. Just the phrase scum in general. He kind of, That's his like go-to.
It's like Bret the Hit Scum Hart.
Yeah, and I'm like, that doesn't hit the same way you think it does.
It doesn't like roll off the tongue.
No. So DDP wonders what's really going on. Bret says the doctors say he can't go, and DDP just, you're a liar. Like,
I think you're a damn liar.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody says it.
Good.
And Gene asks, like, all right, are we going to have a match or not? And Hart says he'll do it if it is a no DQ match. DDP agrees. And the commentators do point out, like, well, you couldn't wrestle, but now it's a DQ match you can?
Right.
Like, they point out the hypocrisy, but he's a heel, so I'm fine with the hypocrisy. So next up, we get Eddie Guerrero versus Kidman for the Cruiserweight title.
Woo.
They really can't decide whether or not he's Kidman or Billy Kidman.
I feel like here he's Billy Kidman, but then when he goes to WWE, he's Kidman.
No, I'm saying even in WCW, like they'll say Billy Kidman, but then the car, like his nameplate will come up and it'll just say Kidman.
Oh.
And I think he's Billy. I think pretty sure he's Billy Kidman in WWE for what it's worth.
Oh, really? Well, what do I know?
So Eddie counters a vault to the outside and tosses Kidman into the steps, and then drop kick sets into Kidman's knee, which is kind of between the steps and the ring post. An innovative kind of spot there. Yeah. Eddie has some big fucking heat. He like poses and he gets a
I know.
massive...
It's huge boo.
There's an Eddie Sucks chant that picks up steam and then it just
They
cuts.
immediately cut the mics.
And I'm just like, yeah, odd crowd noise. I don't really know what's
Yeah,
going on.
I don't really know why they're editing that, because, like, don't you kind of want the heat and the audience participation?
You would assume, but sometimes it's, I don't want certain guys to get over.
What's wrong with Eddie getting over? They're trying to push Eddie over.
Yeah, it's all relative. I know Bischoff doesn't really like Eddie.
Well, Bischoff needs to realize that he's kind of one of the big stars, so...
When they come back from commercial, Eddie is slamming Kidman's arm into the ring post.
Which is what he was doing before the commercial.
Yes.
It's just all arm.
Eddie hits a brainbuster and goes up top, but Kidman counters for a Hurricane Rana, but then Eddie holds on to the ropes and Kidman crashes to the mat.
Yeah.
Eddie, uncharacteristically, goes for a powerbomb. Never guess what happens.
I couldn't think of it. What could possibly happen?
Kidman counters it and hits a facebuster.
No!
You're now 6 for 7, by the way.
No, that can't be right. Kidman doing a facebuster? Could never.
Eddie counters a spine buster into a DDT and goes for a frog splash. But it gets countered again, but this time into a superplex. I think this is when I noticed that I'm like, there's usually one superplex per these matches. Maybe it's a Kidman thing. I don't know.
Maybe. I haven't paid enough attention.
Maybe you've only seen one cruiserweight match that didn't have Kidman in it.
When?
Hoovy and
Disco Inferno. Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Disco's currently on Thunder, if you're wondering where he is.
I wasn't wondering, but now that you say it, I realized I haven't seen him in a minute, so...
We get a ref bump while Kidman sets up a top rope Hurricane Rana. Ray hits a springboard drop kick to Eddie, and Kidman hits a shooting star press on the back of Eddie's knees. But even then, Kidman catches himself, so there's really no impact.
Yeah.
He just kind of lands over Eddie's knees. But also, again, you can't control where you hit.
Fair, but...
Eddie's face down. I don't know if that's for better or worse. But...
Probably for better, honestly.
But yeah, Kidman continues to not know how to fucking hit his own finishing move.
Yeah. And every time he goes for his finishing move, you tense up. You're like, ooh!
I recently discovered he does hurt at least one person in WCW.
Oh, really?
So now I'm just like...
Now you're on edge waiting for it.
Yep. The bell also rings mid-count. I don't know if you caught that. In the middle of of the pinning, it at 2, the bell rings. The ref keeps counting, but
Well, yeah, he obviously gets the pin, but oh shit, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. And then Ray and Kidman get chased out by the LWO.
Again, who would have thunk the LWO come in? Who would have thunk it?
So next up, we get Eric Bischoff and Barry Windham coming out. And they're coming out to Bischoff's own theme, which I thought was interesting that he gets his own theme.
Oh. I need to listen to that again, because I knew it wasn't the NWO theme.
Yeah, that is Eric Bischoff's theme.
Okay.
Eric says that he was in Wyoming over the past, I think it was for Thanksgiving or something.
That would make sense.
Yeah, because this is the first one after Thanksgiving. And his friend Levi says that they need another hero.
We need a new hero.
And Eric says the world needs a hero. He's going to give them another hero. Dean Malenko.
When I think hero, I think Dean Malenko.
The whole time he was talking about this, I was just thinking of Lex Luger. Dean comes out in a hot pink polo.
Okay, yeah, I caught that. I was like, This is when you choose to break out the bold colors, Dean? What?
And alongside him, Arn, Mongo, and Benoit come out, but then Dean sends them to the back. Mm-hmm. Although Arn does note, if you get the chance, smack him in the mouth.
Which I like. He does not smack him in the mouth, though.
Bischoff says that he respects Dean and gives him a chance to be a hero.
I'll be your hero, baby.
He books Malenko versus Wyndham. If Dean wins, Flair versus Bischoff will happen. Dean agrees. And then once he agrees, Bischoff notes, we're going to have a special guest referee. Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes, take me home.
Which I assume felt like a very odd choice to you.
It did.
Because you don't know that
I don't know anything
Flair
about Dusty Rhodes.
and Dusty had a famous feud back in like the
okay.
I think the 80s. That might even been the 70s.
Yikes. Okay. I've heard the name Dusty Rhodes. Like, I'm familiar with the guy, but I thought it was just like, he's available.
Yeah, Dusty comes out in an NWO shirt, and he shakes everyone's hands, but when he goes to shake Dean's hand, Dean's like, nah.
Yeah. Dean's a class act.
State of his forehead, though.
Yeah, you pointed that out.
Dusty's forehead is looking rough here.
I thought it was just wrinkles.
No, that is a wrestler's forehead after years of fucking blading. It looks like New Jack's forehead, if you know. Yeah, maybe not quite as bad as New Jack. I know Abdul the Butcher also kind of has that same look, but it's just the look of a man who bladed a bunch and is no longer a wrestler. That forehead never really heals the same.
No longer has that scar tissue built up.
So next up, we're going to talk about the contract signing for Goldberg versus Nash, because there's not much to talk about in this.
No.
Goldberg apparently is literally getting to the arena then, because he gets out of his limo to come here.
Yeah. So he arrives late, but not as late as he has in the past.
No. And Goldberg doesn't bring the belt out. Mm-mm. I forgot. They showed Bim Bim Bigelow in the crowd earlier in the night. I forget what segment, but he's still there and he's heckling Goldberg from like the front row. And Nash brings the Wolfpack down with him. And this is where I'm like, yeah, it feels lame that the Wolfpack's 3 guys.
Yeah. Once you saw the NWO come down and it's like 30 guys. Not 30. And then you see the Wolfpack and it's 3 little dudes. And I'm like, this is just sad.
So while they're sitting there, Nash just stares down Goldberg and just generally has a dickhead demeanor. Like, he's not taking this seriously. It's just very much like I can't really do it justice over audio, but it's just
he's just kind of doing like the head wiggle.
Yeah,
and the,
head
like,
wiggles, like
eyes.
eye roll. Yeah, it's just
the voodoo fingers.
Is that what we're calling them?
I feel like I've heard them referred to as that before. I may be wrong, but I'm going to call them voodoo fingers until I'm told otherwise.
So they sign it, and once they sign it, Bam Bam rushes the ring and says, like, it should have been me, and they drag him outside. Or security drags him outside. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, it's really not much of note, honestly.
Yeah, this is the contract signing for the biggest match of the year. And
it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's forgettable.
I took notes and I barely remember it. It is setting up an angle that doesn't,
That doesn't matter.
That isn't the match at Starrcade.
Yeah.
So next up, we get Barry Windham versus Dean Malenko.
Yeah, which I was excited for. I thought this would be an interesting match. I like Dean Malenko as a wrestler, so I was excited for this match. Yeah. And I don't know anything about Barry Windham.
Apparently, I don't either. Because I was shocked to learn that Barry Windham and Dean Malenko are the same age here.
Yeah, you told me that. These men are both, 38 at this point?
Yes, they are both 38.
And Barry Windham looks like he has lived 9 whole lives.
Yeah, because when Flair brought Windham out, I went, oh, this is like one of the older horsemen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
It's a buddy of mine.
Fucking 38 years old. For reference, Dusty is 54 and Flair is 49.
Again, Flair does not look like he's 49. Flair perpetually looks like he's 65.
I would say he looks better than Dusty does.
Well, yes. Dusty does not look good.
Oh, I missed from earlier. Dusty notes that he will be calling this match down the middle.
Yes. Which I don't think I guess, kinda, but, not really.
Yeah. So, Dusty comes out to the NWO music, because we don't hear that enough. Dean comes out to the Four Horsemen music, and Windham comes out to Eric Bischoff's theme, which means none of these men have their own unique theme for this match.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
So Windham comes out, and is it a Canadian tuxedo if it's a vest, or does it have to be a jacket?
I think it has to be a jacket.
Because he's rocking a denim vest and jeans. And it's the same, like, shade as well.
I think it has to be a jacket.
Yeah, this is really a nothing match. It's more of an angle than anything. Wyndham kind of works over Dean, and Dusty is kind of letting him do whatever and stopping Dean from getting offense.
Yeah.
Until Wyndham is, like, stomping Dean in the corner, and Dusty DQs him.
Yeah, he actually gives him a DQ. However, throughout the match, Dusty kept going to Dean, like, you want to give up? Do you want to give up? Like, constantly, like, you want to give up? You want to give up?
It's trying to set up a swerve.
I know.
Yeah.
I was impressed, though, that they actually called a DQ.
Yeah. I mean, it was a story DQ.
I know, but at this
I don't
point,
think he even counted to 5. I think he just called the DQ.
Yeah.
So even when they do it, it's like, oh, this is sketchy. Bischoff comes out and fires Dusty.
Was he ever hired?
Yes, Dusty has been under contract.
Okay. I thought he was like a guest referee. So...
No, he was in the NWO. It's just a matter of...
Okay.
I don't know when his last appearance was, but...
So Dusty's
he's
fired.
around. Yeah, he's
Not
he's apparently now fired. The Horsemen come out and the NWO guys bail. But Bischoff versus Flair is now on.
Woo!
And
that's gonna be a big match.
They note later that
that's gonna be a bloody match.
Yeah, we will have to do Time to Blade. But they do mention a later match that WWE legal counsel is like, it's gonna happen at Starrcade.
Good.
Because some reason legal counsel is gonna book matches.
Yeah, suddenly legal counsel exists? When have we ever consulted them before? Or since?
Bischoff beat them up.
Did he?
Remember about the Scott Steiner fine?
Oh, I forgot
when Miss
about
Elizabeth
that.
came out and said 1 word, 2 words?
Yes, I remember this now.
No Miss Elizabeth tonight. So next up, we get Scott Steiner and Horace. Did not say Horace Hogan, said Horace.
Just Horace, yeah.
With the ref versus Hall and Nash. I was cracking up to myself during the NWO's entrance here because I think Horace is on screen for a collective 10% of their entrance, and it's just being in the camera just being engulfed by Scott Steiner, and the car's like hiding behind him.
I'm not even sure if that's on purpose. Scott Steiner is just a large man. And he takes up the entire frame.
I think a little bit it's just like, we don't need to shoot Horace.
You don't.
Just,
you're
like,
not
it's not a story thing. That is a.
You're not going to be part of this.
But yeah, still no mention of Rick Steiner or Buff Bagwell here. Hall then comes out to no music again.
And this is also where Nash comes out, and I'm like, and you were like, oh, I think Kevin Nash is drunk.
Yeah, I was kind of suspecting it during the signing.
Yeah. And
then here, yeah, he definitely seems...
They both looked a little wobbly.
Yeah.
But they're also, that's like their characters. I can't tell. I don't know.
I had very low expectations for this tag match.
Did they meet your low expectations?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
It wasn't terrible. It was better. It was better than I feared.
It was it was fine.
Yeah, exactly. It was fine.
I really wish I had more to say about it. It's just, I'm always surprised at how big of a pop that Kevin Nash gets. Because I just don't get it, but he got a huge pop for this.
Hall gets the better of Horace and mocks the Giant. And I forget when it is. I don't know when. It's later in the night. The Giant ends up doing a Scott Hall taunt, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this?
Yeah.
It's very random that Scott Hall randomly does the big choke slam
kind
of setup pose.
That sort of look. The hand up choke slam.
So the NWO ref keeps fast counting Hall once Scott tags in and gets the better of him. Hall hits a diving bulldog, and the ref just real slow counts. But he actually is counting.
Yeah, he is counting. I'll give him that. When
Hall goes to bitch the ref, Steiner kind of hits a low blow. It's a weird camera angle. When they cut back, Scott's arm is there, but it looks like there was no impact. So I'm like,
it was like a slow motion low blow.
Yeah, I'd say DQ, but it's a crooked ref. So
yeah, that was never going to be a DQ.
Hall gets worked over as a "We want Nash" chant.
Yeah. Again, why is... Because I wasn't there in the era, I won't understand why Kevin Nash was so big.
I don't get it either.
Maybe if I was watching in '98, I would have been like, wow, what a hunk, Kevin Nash. He's amazing. He's the best wrestler ever. But I just don't get it.
So Nash gets the hot tag, and for whatever reason, the ref's like, nope. No tag.
That didn't happen.
Yeah. Nash doesn't give a fuck, so he just comes in anyway. Hall hits the outsider's edge on Horace, and the ref is just like, I'm not going to count at all. I'm not even going to slow count. Just like, nope. So Kevin Nash jackknifes him and then leaves, which means he was never technically in the match because the ref said the tag didn't count. So.
Oh, true. I didn't think about that, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is the WCW. That doesn't matter here.
WCW ref comes down and counts the pin while Horace is still down from the outsider's edge. Like, that's the state of you.
Horace, baby.
And no music for Hall when he wins, which is weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, Nash is gone, does not celebrate with Hall.
Shouldn't have been there in the first place. Why'd you offer yourself up? Per your own words.
Commentary then is plugging the main event and is interrupted with a shot of Goldberg running outside to fight Bam Bam.
Bam Bam. Will we see Goldberg and Bam Bam Bigelow in a match?
I blocked out what we're going to watch for the next episode. There is some stuff with them wrestling.
Okay.
In addition, there's also a triple threat match of Goldberg, Bigelow, and Nash.
Why is Nash there? But they're building up Bam Bam Bigelow so much as this outside force that I want to see him. So
they brawl in front of a bunch of fans and cars, and they're very careful to not run into any of the cars or damage any of them. Those are everybody shoot cars.
Yeah, those are not prop
We're
cars.
just going to generally hold each other and move around back here. And I really, security comes in to break it up, and I was like, I wasn't really nothing segment. Yeah. And then it was like, oh, Goldberg hit a spear. And then they go to commercial.
That's it.
Yeah, cool. They're not... They've killed a lot of my intrigue with this angle. I thought it was pretty hot that first day.
It was.
And...
I think they're dragging it too long.
They just keep making Bigelow out to not be that big a deal.
Right.
Because, anytime he's tried to do something, he just keeps getting, not necessarily beat down, but he's not doing anything.
No.
He's not beat anybody down for himself.
He's not, made a good show of himself.
Yeah.
He's not showing himself as a good wrestler.
Yeah, I think, I think he did beat down two people. I think he interrupted, a Chavo Guerrero in someone match.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it was Mike Enos. Maybe I was wrong about that. But we'll have to see what they do with that over the next couple Nitros. But he will not be wrestling Goldberg at Starrcade. I can tell you that.
So Bam Bam will not be wrestling. Well, he won't be at Starrcade wrestling.
Yeah, I don't think he wrestled anybody else. Definitely not Goldberg.
Well.
So let's move on to the main event of the night, which is Bret Hart versus DDP. And Bret Hart started his entrance with only 8 minutes left, and we're like, oh. This
is also, full disclosure, the match that I thought that I fell asleep during. Turns out I closed my eyes because I closed my eyes and I when I opened back up, something else big was happening. So I'm like, oh, I need to watch this match again. And then I told Nick where I fell out. He's like, oh no, you didn't miss anything.
Yeah. Brett comes out in the same street clothes as earlier. DDP comes out and his audio is still a little bit fucked. I still don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, I don't have an explanation.
Reminder, this is a no DQ match because early on, Brett hits a low blow and props to the ref for not being like, oh, come on, you can't do that. Or
well, they blatantly said earlier, this is a no DQ. And I appreciate that because if not, I've been like, hello?
Yeah, I think he's also choking DDP in the corner and the ref's just like, I can't do anything. And I'm like, yes, don't fucking break shit up in a no DQ match. It drives me up a wall.
I know.
When people rope break and it's like, oh, babe, you have to break the hold. Why? Why do I have to?
It's a no DQ. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Fire me?
So DDP tries to hit a figure four on the post and takes a little bit of time trying to get into it. But once he does, the Giant suddenly comes down out of nowhere.
This is where I zoned back in. I'm like, oh god, the Giant's interfering. I must have missed a lot.
No. He comes down and he press slams DDP into the ring from the outside.
Yeah.
He then chokeslams DDP. Hart stands him up, and Giant hits another chokeslam from the top rope this time. Giant's on the ground, DDP's on the top rope. So it's effectively...
I was like, I don't think the Giant got on the top rope.
I mean, I guess you might get a little bit more lift, but it's effectively the same thing.
Yeah. You're not doing much extra there.
Hart locks in the sharpshooter, and the ref drops the arm 3 times. New champion again. Brett has the U.S. title back.
The quickest match.
And, this is where Giant does the Scott Hall taunt. I'm like,
yeah.
Weird. And, yeah, that was a bit of a bummer to end on.
Yeah, it could have been a really cool match, but
Yeah,
it was just so rushed.
I thought this was going to be like their blow-off match.
Yeah.
So...
It just felt very rushed.
Yeah, we'll just have to see where all this continues to go. Hopefully somewhere good. But that's for part 1 of the build to Starrcade.
We have 3 episodes in between now and Starrcade.
Yeah, I'm peeking in on the Thunders. There's still nothing to note. I watched Scott Steiner talk about being the leader of the NWO, and he said, fuck all. So, I said, if it's anything important, you'll be alerted.
And we said that Thunder will probably become more of a thing when SmackDown goes head-to-head with it.
Yes. Or just generally around when Russo comes in. There's also a point where they start taping it after Nitro as opposed to its own days because Thunder stopped getting a crowd. So it's easier to get your top guys when it's filmed on the same day.
Oh, so they're just mooching the crowds?
Yeah, I mean we'll see. I mean, yeah, Thunder's a separate crowd and it's not that star quality isn't quite there.
No.
I don't really want to go look, but I probably couldn't tell you the last time Goldberg wrestled on Thunder.
No.
But, yeah, that's it for this episode. I guess, how was this compared to the last build?
Honestly, I'm enjoying this one better so far.
I'm wondering if it's because there's not I guess you can't spin the wheels as much because World War III, everybody was in it, but they didn't build towards it at all. Mm-hmm. This is you need to build towards matches.
Yeah, and I think that's going to benefit.
All right, any match predictions as of now?
Well, there's definitely going to be Ray versus Eddie Guerrero. Or Ray versus the LWO.
Yeah, we have something involved in them. We have Bischoff and Flair.
That's
booked.
definitely going to happen.
Nash and Goldberg.
Yeah.
What else did we watch that sticks out? And I was going to say, man, they're really not building towards anything. The more I'm looking at it, I'm like...
Yeah, they're not really building Steiner towards anything that I can think of. Not really building the Giant.
Something with DDP and Brett and the Giants interfered, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, probably that. I was just thinking of somebody.
Jericho.
Not really doing anything with Jericho. They can't keep dragging out the Bobby Duncombe stuff.
They have too many guys. That's
Yeah.
really the issue. Is they signed everybody, and you can't push everybody.
Yeah. That will come back to bite them, obviously. That's the whole point of this podcast.
So, upcoming schedule. We got episode 6 will be the build to Starrcade part 2, in which we'll be doing the next 3 Nitros. Then, obviously, Starrcade 98 will be episode number 7. After that, we're actually going to do the matches in between Starrcade, and I believe it's sold out, as each of them are going to have their own episode, because we're going to do a little something special with the June 4th Nitro. We'll talk about that more as we get closer. And then we're going to go back to the builds for a little while. We will eventually do the weekly Nitros, and then even more eventually do the weekly Thunders.
Eventually. What do you think? Can we get just one more episode this year, or can we get Starrcade this year too? Before the end of the year.
We'll see what we can do.
Okay.
I wanted to get the June 4th one in time for June 4th, and then I kind of looked at the calendar and went...
I think we'll be good.
January. I keep saying June.
Yeah, you've said June. I'm like, I don't think we need to rush on the June episode.
January 4th. I say June for every single one of those.
Yeah, you did.
I did this the other night, too.
I should have caught you. January 4th.
Yes, the January 4th Nitro. We're not going to skip ahead to June. Other than that, my not being able to know the months on the calendar. Any closing thoughts?
No. I'm hopeful that the next 3 episodes of Nitro are this kind of pace. Like, I enjoyed these episodes.
Well, considering we're squeezing 3,
I'm hoping what we watch is quality.
Yeah. Content-wise, it's about the amount of stuff we're going to watch is about the same. I did it via bookmarks on the WWE Network, and it broke down to about the same.
Cool. I like it. All right, well, that's all I got.
Yeah. Other than that, you can follow us on Twitter @ButtsInThePod.
I'm taking that over. I'm sorry if I tweet about Sasha Banks a lot.
I have to delete some of those because we're getting some recommendations of oh my god, did they kiss?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, the weird stuff's going to start coming out.
State of women's wrestling. Anyway.
We're still on Spotify. Subscribe to us there. And I don't have anything else.
That's all I got.
I think until next time, I'm Nick.
I'm Emily.
And thanks for listening to the Butts in the Seats podcast.